Hello everyone, this is Simon from Language Atlas, and in this video I would like to show you the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video we will go over three things. First, I would like to show the course structure of the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck. Second, I'd like to show the course content. And third, I'd like to show you some brief system and editing options. Now, as you can tell, I have the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck right over here. Now, normally you would double click on Anki deck to open it, but I've already done so, as you can see right over here. So I'll maximize Anki, and I'd like to get started with my first point, which is to show the course structure. Now, inside the overall Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck, you can see that there are 6 chapters, beginning with chapter 1 pronouns, and then chapter 2 verbs, chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns, chapter 4 adjectives, chapter 5 adverbs, and chapter 6 determiners and endings. Now, if I go to chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns, you can see that there are subdecks inside of it, 20 to be precise, ranging from academia and intellect and animals all the way to time, maths and numbers and transportation. Now, what I've done is that I've categorized all nouns by theme. So if you wish to learn more about a certain theme, you can do so. So if you wish to learn more about arts and entertainment, you can do so. If you wish to learn more about body and health or society and economy, whichever theme you're most interested in, or perhaps more interested in, you're able to learn more about that. So this is really beneficial to you if you wish to practice a certain theme, or if you know you're weak on something and you'd like to learn more about it, you're able to practice that particular theme. So that is what I wanted to show you for my first point, which was the course structure. Now I'd like to go to my second point, which is to show you the course content. And I'll do so by having a look at 3 Anki decks within the overall Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck. I'll have a look at chapter 3 nouns and adjectival nouns. And to be a bit more precise, I'll have a look at home. Then I'll have a look at chapter 4 adjectives, and finally chapter 2 verbs. Now, I can't show you all of the Anki decks, but I do believe that by having a look at these 3, you will have a better feel, a better understanding of what it is like if you do the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck. Now, there's one thing that I'd like to note. You may have noticed that this chapter is called Nouns and Adjectival Nouns. Well, this chapter is called Nouns and Adjectival Nouns because Korean has some noun-like words that are descriptive. In English, they may feel like adjectives, but in Korean, they behave more like noun-based words. So this is really something that I wanted to share with you. So I'd like to get started with chapter 3, Nouns and Adjectival Nouns, and I will go to Home, and then I'll click on Study Now. So this is the first card type that we see. We see that there's a Korean sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of that blank area. Underneath the Korean sentence, we have an English translation sentence. The string snapped while playing the guitar, and string is bolded and underlined. So this means that you have to know the Korean word for string. And of course, that is what goes over here in the blank area. Underneath that, we have a visual representation of the Korean sentence and the word that we're looking for. So it's an image. And many studies have shown that if you see such a visual representation, if you see such an image, it is much easier for you to understand and memorize the sentence and the word that you're trying to learn. Now, one thing I would like to note here as well, and this is about Korean sentences. The sentences are generally written in natural, learner-friendly Korean, and many of them use the polite form, sometimes called heyoche. I'll explain a little bit more about the polite form later, but this is something I would like to share right now with you. So, one more time, polite form, most of them. We have a blank form over here, blank area in the Korean sentence. And we have seen English translation, string is bolded and underlined, so we have to know string. And we see a picture representing the sentence and the word. So, what is string in Korean?
기타를 치다가 줄이 끊어졌어요. 줄.
Great. So we see 2 areas. We see a sentence area, and we see that there's a word area. I'd like to get started by showing you the sentence area. So we see over here we have the correct answer sentence with the correct word bolded and in the color indigo. Now, does the color indigo carry a special meaning? No, it does not. The only reason that it is here in indigo is so that you can immediately spot the correct answer. So this is just a visual aid or a visual cue. You can immediately spot the correct word in the answer sentence, so you know the word that you're looking for. So we have the correct answer sentence with the word that we're looking for, indigo. Underneath that, we have the IPA notation of the Korean sentence. And the IPA notation is here as an extra aid to help you with your pronunciation. So I know that there are many people that like to have such an IPA notation. They can read along, they can really improve their pronunciation. And perhaps this is something for you as well, and maybe you'll benefit from this too. But of course, it's not obligatory. You can always use just the Korean or the audio. We have the English translation sentence, and we have sentence audio.
기타를 치다가 줄이 끊어졌어요.
So one more time, we have the sentence audio.
기타를 치다가 줄이 끊어졌어요.
Great. So the second area is the word area. This is the word that we're looking for in Korean. We have the IPA notation. This helps with pronunciation. And we have an English translation of the word. Finally, audio.
줄.
Great. There's one more thing that I'd like to say about this area. Now, this is the base form or dictionary form of the word. This is the form you would normally look up in a dictionary. So if you're looking for the word string, this is what you'd find. One more time.
줄.
Great. Sentence area, word area. Let's continue. You need a large pot to boil soup. How do you say pot?
국을 끓이려면 큰 냄비가 필요해요. 냄비.
Great. Let's do another one. Please organize the stuff on the desk. How do you say stuff?
책상 위에 있는 물건을 좀 정리해 주세요. 물건.
Great. So we know this. We have the sentence area. We have the singular area. But over here, you see something interesting. This is kind of a bonus area. This is hanja. Now, some Korean words may also show hanja. Hanja are the Chinese characters connected to some Korean words. You don't need to memorize the hanja to use the deck, but they can help you recognize connections between Korean words. So I do recommend having a look at them, and over time you'll be able to see connections between the Korean words, and this will help you improve your understanding of the Korean language as well. I chose gray curtains to match the wallpaper color. How do you say curtains?
벽지 색깔에 맞춰서 회색 커튼을 골랐어요. 커튼.
Great. Wrinkles smooth out well if you press them with a heavy iron. How do you say iron?
무거운 다리미로 누르면 주름이 잘 펴져요. 다리미.
I wiped the floor cleanly with a wet cloth. How do you say cloth?
젖은 걸레로 바닥을 깨끗이 닦았어요. 걸레.
Great. If you put small items in organizer, they're easy to find. How do you say organizer?
작은 물건들은 정리함에 넣으면 찾기 편해요. 정리함.
Great. So we have the sentence area of the word area. My friends helped with the move. How do you say move?
친구들이 이사를 도와줬어요. 이사.
Great. A large package came from the post office. How do you say package?
우체국에서 큰 소포가 왔어요. 소포.
Great. So just to do a small recap, we have the sentence area right over here, which is the first area. We have the word area over here, the second one, and we have the hanja for some cards. Correct answer sentence and the word that we're looking for bolded in the color indigo so that you can immediately spot the correct answer. We have the IPA notation, and this helps with pronunciation. We have the English sentence translation, and we have audio.
우체국에서 큰 소포가 왔어요.
Great. We have the word in Korean. This is the one that we're looking for. We have the IPA. We have the English translation and audio.
소포.
And of course, same. We have hanja. And I could continue like this, but I think you get the picture. Now I'd like to go to the second deck, which is adjectives. And I'm going to click on Study Now. So, this is the first card type of adjectives. And again, this is a setup that we're familiar with. We see a Korean sentence with a blank area. And it's your job to know what goes inside of the blank area. Underneath that, we see that we have a English sentence translation with a certain part bolded and underlined. And it's your job to know what goes over here. So this cafe has a really calm atmosphere. So calm, you have to know that in Korean. And we see a visual representation of the sentence and the word that we're looking for. So this is a nice visual representation of calm. So let's have a look. What is calm in Korean?
이 카페는 분위기가 정말 차분해요. 차분해요. 차분한, 차분하다.
Great. So this is the first area, which is the sentence area. We're familiar with this. We see the answer sentence with the correct word in the color indigo and bolded, so they can immediately spot the correct answer. We see the IPA notation. So this is here, so you can improve your pronunciation. We have the English translation sentence, and we have audio.
이 카페는 분위기가 정말 차분해요.
Great. Now over here is where things get a little bit interesting. We see that there are two areas for the word calm. But why is this the case? Well, this adjective card is a good moment to explain an important Korean idea. The difference between the polite form, which is what you see over here, and the dictionary form, which is what you see over here. Now, earlier with nouns, the dictionary form was simple. It was just the noun by itself. This is because nouns do not really have polite forms. The Korean politeness is usually shown through sentence endings, especially on verbs and adjectives. The noun itself normally stays the same. So a sentence with a noun can be polite, but the noun itself is still just shown in the base form. However, there is, of course, an important difference. That's why I'm mentioning it. With adjectives, this is different. Korean adjectives change form when they're used in sentences. So on the back of the card, you will see the adjective more than once. You will see it over here in the polite form, and the polite form is used in sentences. This one and this one is the same. And you will see it in the dictionary form. And the dictionary form is just simply the base form, and this is what you would use to look up the word calm in the dictionary. So I'd like to say a little bit more about the polite form, which is what we see over here. Now, many polite forms end with yo, as you can see right over here, and of course an IPA notation. Let's have a listen.
차분해요.
And you can see it again, you can see the ending over here as well. So this is a nice little trick. Most of them end with yo. Now, the polite form is an ideal starting form to learn because it is respectful without sounding overly formal. You can use it on many everyday situations, with people you do not know well, in shops and restaurants, with teachers, with staff, and also with people you know when you want to sound polite or respectful. So, polite form. Polite form, yes. We also have the dictionary form, which is this one. Now, the dictionary form is the base form of the word. It is the form you would usually look up in a dictionary. For Korean adjectives and verbs, the dictionary form often ends with a da sound. Over here you can see the da, and you can see over here the da. Let's have a listen.
차분하다.
So, one thing I really would like to note, these you have calm, but this one and this one, they're not necessarily different words. They're not different words. They are two forms of the same adjective. The polite form is used in the sentence. You can see it over here, and you can see it over here. So the polite form is used in the sentence. And the dictionary form is simply the word you look up in the dictionary. Now there's one form that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's this one after the dash. Now, this is also the same adjective. It is used before a noun. So for example, if I were to say a calm teacher or a calm cafe. So I've included this because Korean adjectives often need a different form when they come before a noun. So one more time, the sentence area, you notice. We have the word in the polite form, and the polite form is what you use in sentences. You can see the nice little yo ending over here as well.
차분해요.
And again, polite form. We have the dictionary form, and this is simply the base form of the word. If you want to look up the word calm, this is what you'd find. And we have over here a form of the adjective if you use the adjective literally in front of the word. So a calm teacher or a calm cafe. So let's continue. This pebble is very smooth. How do you say smooth?
이 조약돌은 아주 매끄러워요. 매끄러워요. 매끄러운. 매끄럽다.
Siwoo is really brave, even in difficult situations.
시우 씨는 어려운 상황에서도 정말 용감해요. 용감해요? 용감한, 용감하다.
I feel guilty because I lied. How do you say guilty?
거짓말을 해서 마음이 죄스러워요. 죄스러워요? 죄스러운, 죄스럽다.
Great. And of course the hanja. We have the hanja here as well. There is still plenty of time. How do you say plenty?
시간이 아직 충분해요. 충분해요. 충분한, 충분하다.
Great. And the hanja? Your face is very pale today. How do you say pale?
오늘 얼굴이 너무 창백해요. 창백해요. 창백한, 창백하다.
Great. And let's do one more. I can hear an odd sound from somewhere.
어디선가 이상한 소리가 들려요. 이상해요. 이상한, 이상하다.
And you may have noticed odd sound. We place the adjective right in front of the noun, so we use this form over here. So that is why I have included it. So one more time, a little recap. We have the sentence area. We have the word bolded and in the color indigo, so you can immediately spot it. IP notation, which helps with pronunciation. We have the English translation sentence, and finally audio.
어디선가 이상한 소리가 들려요.
We have the noun in the polite form, and usually it ends with a yo. We have over here, we have the dictionary form, and this usually ends with a da.
이상하다.
And of course, if the adjective is placed right in front of the noun, as is the case here, you'll use the form that you find after the dash. Of course, you always have the IP notation and the English translation. Finally, let's listen to the audio one more time.
이상해요. 이상한,
And in the dictionary form, you have the IP notation, English translation, audio,
이상하다.
hanja. I could continue, but I think you get the picture. Let's go to chapter 2, verbs, and I'm going to click on study now. So, this is again the first card type. We've seen this before. We see that there's a Korean sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of the blank area. Underneath the Korean sentence, we see that there's an English translation sentence. Fashion magazines feature summer shoes. You see that feature is bolded and underlined, so you have to know what feature is in Korean. And we see a visual representation of the sentence and the word that we're looking for. So, how do you say feature in Korean?
패션 잡지는 여름 신발을 소개해요. 소개해요. 소개하다.
And great. So you see the sentence area, this we already know. And then we see the same setup as we saw before. So here the same polite form and dictionary form ID applies as before. So we have the polite form area, we have the dictionary form area. And you can see we have the polite form here. And notice the yo ending.
소개해요.
And this is also what is used in the sentence. And over here we have the dictionary form. This is the base form, the form that you would use to look up the word feature in the dictionary. And notice the da ending.
소개하다.
Great. So let's continue. The puppy is biting the toy. Biting.
강아지가 장난감을 물어요. 물어요. 물다.
Great. So sentence area, highlighted part, IP notation, English translation, audio.
강아지가 장난감을 물어요.
And the same polite and dictionary form. Big ships transport cars overseas. How do you say transport?
큰 배가 자동차를 해외로 운송해요. 운송해요. 운송하다.
Sentence area, polite form area, and we have the dictionary area. And over here we have the hanja. Place the bag on the chair. How do you say place?
가방을 의자 위에 놓아요. 놓아요. 놓다.
Great. So sentence area, polite form area, dictionary form area. Heyoon indicates the direction with her hand. Indicates.
하은 씨가 손으로 방향을 나타내요. 나타내요. 나타내다.
Hang a coat in the wardrobe. How do you say hang?
옷장에 코트를 걸어요. 걸어요. 걸다.
Great. So last recap. Sentence area, Correct answer in indigo. IP annotation, this helps with pronunciation. English translation sentence and audio.
옷장에 코트를 걸어요.
Over here we have the polite form area. So you see the word in the polite form and again over here. So the polite form is what's used in sentences. IP annotation, which helps with translation. English translation and audio.
걸어요.
And finally we have the dictionary form area. IP annotation, English translation and audio.
걸다.
And the dictionary form is the form that you would use to look up the word in the dictionary. That is what I want to show you for verbs. I could continue, but I think you get the image. So that is what I wanted to show you for the second point, which was the course structure. Now I'd like to go to my third point, which is to show you some brief system and editing options. Now you may have noticed that all of the exercises we have done so far were fill in the blank exercises. You see a sentence with a blank area, and it's your job to know what goes inside of the blank area. Now for those that want to practice their spelling, there's an optional typing exercise. This is disabled by default, but I will show you how to enable it. So we go to Browse, and then we will click on the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck. And then you can click on any card, it doesn't matter which one. So if I scroll down, you can see there's an area over here called Enable Typing Practice. Now, if you want to have this typing practice, all you have to do is enter the word yes over here. Now, naturally, if I enter yes one by one for all of these cards, it's going to take a very long time. But there's a faster way to do this. Click on any of the cards, doesn't matter which one. Control A, Command A. Right mouse click, Notes, Find and Replace. Then we want to find an empty area. And you want to replace this with the word yes. And for which field do we want to do this? We want to do this for the field Enable Typing Practice. So find nothing, replace with yes, and in Enable Typing Practice. You want to click on OK, and you can see it has a yes now. So what does this look like in practice? I'll go to Chapter 3 Nouns, I'll click on Home, and let's see what this looks like in practice. So, this is a card that we've already seen before. The string snapped while playing the guitar. Now before we had to know what the string was, but for the second card type, which is the spelling card type or the typing card type, so for the second card type, you actually have to spell the word correctly. So this tests whether you can actually spell words correctly, whether you can type them correctly. And I know there are a lot of you that like this feature as well. So what happens if I enter the correct word?
기타를 치다가 줄이 끊어졌어요. 줄.
Great. So if I answer with the correct answer, Anki shows it in the color green. So Anki gives you immediate feedback on what you did. So this is a nice little feature that Anki has, and this will help you a lot when it comes to spelling and typing. However, what happens if we do not know the correct answer? So over here, we see another card that we've already seen before. You need a large pot to boil soup. But what happens if we do not know the correct answer? I'm going to the typing field, enter the answer.
국을 끓이려면 큰 냄비가 필요해요. 냄비.
Great. So you can see that something interesting has happened over here. This is what I entered. Now what I had correct shows up in green, but where I made the mistake shows up in the color red. So Anki immediately shows you how you did. So green, this is what you had correct, what you had entered correctly, but this is where you made the mistake. So it shows up in red. Underneath that, you can see what you should have had. So this is the correct answer, and this is what you're missing. This is what you should have answered. So Anki gives you feedback. Anki shows you what you did well and perhaps not so well, what was correct or what was incorrect. So this is an amazing feature to have for those of you that want to practice spelling or typing. But let's say that you don't like the second card type. Let's say you want to go back to the fill in the blanks only, where you didn't have to type or spell anything. How do you do that? So let's go to Browse, and then I will click on the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck as well. You can click on any card, it doesn't matter which one. And all I have to do is get rid of the word yes over here. And again, doing this for all the cards will take a very long time. So I'll show you how to do it in a faster way. Click any card, it doesn't matter which one. Control A or Command A, right mouse click, we will go to Notes, we will go to Find and Replace, and we want to find the word yes, and we want to replace it with nothing because we want to have an empty field. And we want to have this for the enable typing practice. So find yes, replace with empty, and in enable typing practice. And I scroll down and you can see that the yes is gone. But now we still have to get rid of all these empty cards. So we'll go to decks, we'll go to tools, we'll go to empty cards. Tools, empty cards I did. And you see a nice little pop-up over here. Inside the pop-up you can see the optional typing practice. So we have a lot of empty cards, you want to get rid of them. So I'll click on delete. And that's it. I'm back to the first card type only. Now, there's one more thing that I'd like to show you. Many people have asked me, Sam, how do you regulate the amount of cards that you do every day? And what are the best settings in Anki? And this is what I'd like to show you now. So next to the Korean B1 vocabulary Anki deck, you have a little icon over here. If I click on it and then I'll go to options, you can see a new pop-up. You can see there's an area called daily limits, and you can see new cards per day, and you're able to see maximum reviews per day. Now, if new cards per day regulates the amount of new cards that you do every day. For me, this is currently 15. I can change this, of course. I can change this to 30. I can increase it. You also have maximum reviews per day, and this regulates the amount of reviews that you do every day. And the review is simply a card that you've already done before. Currently, it's 150, but I can increase this as well. I can change this to 300. Now, please note that this does not mean that you have 300 reviews every day. This is maximum reviews per day. So you will have a maximum reviews of 300. It can also be that you have 20 reviews or 30 reviews, but this is a maximum amount of reviews. I'll click on save, and the numbers have increased. I can also decrease the numbers. I can decrease them to 5, and I can do this, for example, 50. I will click on save. And you can see that the amount of cards has decreased. And if I want to go back, that's possible too. Options. And then you see the following again. I'm just going to go to 15 and 150. So this is what I recommend for most people. I think this is a really fair amount of cards to do. You do 50 new cards per day and 150 reviews. Now, you can do whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to do more, you can do more. If you want to do fewer, you can do fewer. But I would recommend that you choose an amount that you feel comfortable with and that you know that you'll do every day. And a nice little trick is whatever number you have over here, do it times 10 for the next one. So I have 15 new cards per day, and I will do it times 10, so that's 150, so 150 reviews per day. If I scroll down, you can see there's an area called FSRS. And what is this? FSRS is a new kind of algorithm that is much better than the default one of Anki. Now, Anki has a default algorithm, and the algorithm is essentially what determines which cards you see and when you see them. But many studies have gone into FSRS, the FSRS algorithm, and these studies have shown that FSRS is much better when it comes to memorization. FSRS knows exactly when you need to see which cards. It's much more effective and much more efficient. So this will help you when it comes to being better able to memorize the cards that you do. So I have FSRS on, as you can see over here, and I have this desired retention 90%. So 15 new cards per day, 150 reviews per day. FSRS is on and desired retention 90%. I'll click on save, and that's it. That is what I wanted to show you in this video. I'd like to thank you so much for watching my explainer video for Korean B1 vocabulary. You can get the Anki deck at languageatlas.com. I repeat, languageatlas.com. I will share all the links in the comment section and in the description. So if you want to get the deck, if you want to find more information, read more information, that is where you go. So that's where I'll place all the links. I wish you the best of luck when it comes to learning the Korean language, and have an amazing day. Goodbye.